Hello, BookTube. Hello, friends. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and it is time for me to do the mid-year freakout tag. Now, normally you start to see this tag start showing up around early to mid-June all over BookTube, but I personally don't like to do it until sometime after July 1st because I want to be able to consider all of the books that I have read during the first 6 months of the year when I'm deciding what my answers are going to be. And you know, what if I read my favorite book of the first 6 months of the year in the 3rd and 4th weeks of June? So this way I'm safe. You know, we have wrapped up June, and now I am ready to bring you this tag. I will put the original creator in the description box below, and because of course I want to give credit where credit is due. They are really fun questions. I still maintain that the title is a bit of a misnomer because I don't really freak out about telling you my superlatives for the year, but I do freak out about stuff like, oh my goodness, I'm 56 years old and I have hundreds of unread books. That type of stuff is not on here, but, you know, I don't know. I'm not the one that came up with the title or the questions, so let's just go with them as they are and just have fun with them. So I have most of the books that I want to show you here with me, but for the ones that I don't, I will edit in a picture. I am using my old camera today, so I know how to edit in a picture on this camera. I know the quality's not as good, but hopefully you'll bear with me, and I will try not to make this video super long. So the first question is to name your best book of the year. And I am going to have to go with Greenwood by Michael Christie. I didn't even know about this book before Earth Day. This was a book that I won in Summer's giveaway. Summer is, her channel is Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats. And this was her BookTube spin pick for the second round. And since I won her extra copy in her giveaway, we ended up buddy reading it, and we both thought it was fantastic. And I have talked about it already, and I still say if I can ever get around to it, I'm going to do a whole video dedicated to this book, so I won't go into details here, but I think it's fantastic. This is really a book for everyone. I think really, and Summer said this in her wrap-up video, she said, I can't imagine anyone not loving this book. There's just so many things in this book, and it's fantastic. So I really, really enjoyed it. So the next question is to name your favorite sequel of the year. And for this one, I'm going to have to put in a picture. So the sequel I'm going to go with is The Sunflower Sisters by Martha Hall Kelly. And I thought that this book was so much better than the first two books in the series. In fact, you don't have to read books 1 and 2. Each book goes farther back in time, so each book is a prequel of the one before. So I just thought it was a fantastic book. It has 3 different perspectives. There is a 4th narrator, but I don't know. I think there was just a couple of things from that 4th person, and there's really 3 main storylines, and it is set in Civil War time, and in 3 different, I guess 2 or 3 different locations. And you know, without going into too much detail, I just thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and if you want to know a little bit more about it, you could check out my video where I compared Civil War fiction, because I did do kind of a character study between one of the characters from Sunflower Sisters and compared her to Scarlett O'Hara, which I think is really more of a contrast than a compare, but you can watch the video and see for yourself what I thought about it. And just know I thought it was a fantastic book. You know, not everyone did. I've seen a few reviews of people who, you know, did not care for it, but I personally thought it was great, and I liked it much, much better than the other 2 books in the series. So the next one is a new release that you haven't read yet. Well, I've actually got 2 of them here. Very rarely do I do a video about anticipated releases, but either early in, when did I do it? I'm trying to think. It's been some time since between now and like last October, where I did anticipated releases video, and I talked about books that were coming out later in 2020 and a few that were coming out in early 2021. And I have read some of those, but I've got 2 of them here that I still have not read. One of them is the most recent Miss Julia book called Miss Julia Happily Ever After by Ann B. Ross. And then another one is the most recent Calder book by Janet Dailey. And I have read all of the Calder series, and this one is called Calder Brand. I think it's about a different family, and somehow it's connected with the Calder series. I'm not really sure, but I am very interested to read it. I did enjoy the Calder series. That is a series that she started writing back, I think, in the 80s, and just very good family saga about a cattle ranch and a cattle, how would you say it? Kind of a whole family, the Calder family, who are from a big ranch in Montana. So then the other anticipated release that I've not read is the most recent book in the Hannah Swenson Baking Mystery Series by Joanne Fluke. And I got it from the library, started it, and I just didn't have time to finish it. All three of these books would have been read by now if I could find them on audio, if I had access through my library or something. And hopefully the audios will show up, or I'll get them read in the meantime at some point. But those are definitely new releases that I want to read that have just come out this year. And then the next one is, what is my most anticipated release for the second half of the year? Well, I've got two. They are the most recent books in two different Cozy Mystery series. I've got the first book in each of the series here. Of course, I don't have the most anticipated books because they're not out yet. One of them is The Coffee House Mysteries by Cleo Coyle. The last or most recent book, I want to say it's book 18 or 19. Or 20, I don't know, somewhere up in there, and it doesn't come out until maybe December. So I am hoping to get to that. I am caught up completely with the series except for the newest one that comes out this year. The other series is The Cat in the Stacks Mysteries by Miranda James. This is the first book, Murder Past Due. I am a little bit behind on this one. I did a binge read of this series in 2019, and it was early in the year, so one came out a little later that year, and then one came out last year, and another one comes out this year. So at some point, maybe August or September, I can't think when the newest one comes out. When it comes out, then I want to binge read all three of the most recent books in this series and be caught up with that. And then number 5 is your biggest disappointment. Well, I have to say, it is a book with a beautiful cover that I just did not like. It is The Lost Summer of Louisa May Alcott by Kelly O'Connor McNees. I just did not like how Louisa May Alcott was portrayed in this book. It may very well be how she was in real life. I don't know. But it just sort of shattered my image of what I hoped she would be like, and her moral compass and moral standards and all of that, and it's not how she was portrayed here. So it was a big disappointment for me. The cover, though, is amazing and beautiful, but the book just was not for me. And then the next one is, what is your biggest surprise? Well, I'll have to show you a picture of this one. This one is a surprise because not only did I love it, it's another book that I had never heard of before this year, and it is Lark Rise to Candleford by Flora Thompson. We just read all three books as a group read with Angie from Literary Labors and Summer from Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats, and that was for Pastoral June, and I loved all three of the books. I have been watching the series now with my husband. We've watched all of season 1, and it was just a fantastic trilogy. Even if you just read the first book, the first book alone is fantastic. And I don't know, I kind of made this analogy, and I don't know if this is really be correct or not. It might give you the wrong image, but it's set in the 1880s and 1890s in England. So to me, that's sort of like what Little House on the Prairie is to America and Anne of Green Gables is to Canada. Lark Rise to Candleford is to England. I don't know. I made that analogy, but you may think differently. And then the next question is, what was your favorite debut author or new to you author? And I am going to tell you again about a debut author, and I loved her first book. This is The Forbidden Gift by Debra Torres. I did an interview with her in late April, and her book came out in May, and I got a chance to read an e-ARC copy of it before it came out, and then I ordered a physical copy right after they came out, and I just thought this book was fantastic. I'm really looking forward to seeing what other books she is going to write. This is the first of a series, and I hope that it will be the first of many, many books that Debra Torres is inspired to write, and I totally loved it. It is about a young Amish woman who has a gift of writing, but she has been told that that is forbidden in her group, and so she has to stop writing, even though she had been secretly writing for a newspaper, and the newspaper loved her and had no idea that an Amish woman was writing this column. So if you find that interesting, I encourage you to pick it up. I did a whole review video of this video as well as an interview with Debra, the author, and I will definitely be reading this book again at some point. It was really, really good. And then the next question is your newest fictional crush. Well, I haven't had a really good fictional crush since I read Gentleman in Moscow several years ago, and that book still resonates with me. I just really, really enjoyed that book. So I don't have a new one for this year. Now I did, though, read a book that has what a lot of younger YA readers, I think, would consider their biggest fictional crush, and that is The Heist Society by Ali Carter. When I got a chance to read that back in May, I remembered that I had heard several people talking about the series in the past and saying that the character of Hale was their book boyfriend, and I could totally see it. I'm a lot bit too old for Hale, but I could definitely see why that a lot of readers would find and make Hale their fictional boyfriend, because he was an all-around good guy, very mysterious, tall, dark, and handsome, and just a great character. So I at least now know what the fuss is about, but for me personally, I'm a little old for Hale. And the next question is your newest favorite character. Well, that's a hard one. I have really read about some wonderful characters this year, but I'm going to say, in anticipation of continuing to read more in the series, because I've only read one so far, but I'm going to say Amelia Peabody by Elizabeth Peters. I've only read the first book in the Amelia Peabody series, and I thought it was wonderful. I love the strong character of Amelia Peabody. I think that she is just going to be super fun and, stubborn and witty and just all the things. And I'm really excited to read more from that series. And then number 10 is a book that made you cry. Well, I don't cry a lot in books, but I do remember just being heartbroken over The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek by what was her name? Richardson? Is it Kim Michelle Richardson? I'll put I'll definitely put everything down in the description box below. So, yes, that book was just heartbreaking and very, very interesting, very compelling, and definitely is a book that will stick with me for a long time. And then read a book, or mention a book that made you happy. So I first thought of the Miss Julia series because I was so happy to get caught up with 4 of the Miss Julia books earlier this year. I still have the very last one, the most recent one to read, but this is one of the recent ones that I listened to on audio, Miss Julia Takes the Wheel by Ann V. Ross. Miss Julia just makes me happy all around. But then I thought about a nonfiction book that I read that made me happy for a lot of different reasons. I don't have a copy of the book, and I had not ever read the book in its entirety before, but I had read excerpts from it in this book, A Year with C.S. Lewis, which I read in 2020. But the book is Mere Christianity, and I loved the book. Like I said, I had never read it before, and I thought it was just a fantastic, easy to read study, and well, I don't even know how to describe it, but it was just such a good exploration of what Christianity is. And what made it even better was the fact that Krista from Books and Jams assembled a group of people to discuss each section every Sunday afternoon in the month of, I don't even remember what month we did. May, yeah, because it was Mere Christianity May. So that was just wonderful. Not only did I enjoy reading the book, but I enjoyed listening to the discussion, and it just made me happy that Christians were talking about this book, and maybe people who are not Christians were watching it and just learning a little bit more about why we believe what we believe, and I just thought that was just a wonderful all-around experience. Okay, the next one is, what is the most beautiful book you have acquired this year? So I wasn't sure what I was going to show you, and then I ran across this one. I got this not too long ago, and not only is this a beautiful book, one of the things that makes it beautiful is the food. There's just something beautiful about food. And this is Debbie Macomber's Cedar Cedar Cove cookbook. I've read the whole Cedar Cove series. I found this somewhere, a book sale, maybe a library book sale. I'm not even sure. And look at it. It's just stunning. And then on the back we've got Debbie with some other food, a photograph, and then here we've got a painting or drawing. So anyway, this I think is definitely my most beautiful book that I have acquired this year. And then what is a book or books that you need to read by the end of the year? Well, I got this idea from Becca from Hicks Fix Books because she mentioned a book that she had started that she wanted to finish by the end of the year, and I've got 2 of those. And honestly, I've been trying to figure out why I am having a hard time getting these read. And I'll show you the books, and then I'll tell you what my own psychoanalysis is of that. These are books I started in January, and I have not picked them back up since then. I might have picked up one of them a little bit in February. Anyway, it's Jan Karen's Mitford Cookbook and Kitchen Reader, and then the Mitford Bedside Companion by Jan Karen. Both of these have to do with the Mitford series. This one has some excerpts from each of the books that were published prior to this book being published, and then this one has some little side stories that go along with the recipes. And I want to read both of these. These are literally the only things I think that Jan Karen has ever published that I have not read in their entirety. And I think my problem is that I want to savor these. I know that I want to sit down, you know, I want it to be perfect. You know, I want to have like a cozy fireplace, which I don't have. I live in Central Florida. I don't need a fireplace. But you know what I'm saying? I want to have my cup of tea or coffee and not have any interruptions. And I just want to sit down and just immerse myself back into Mitford. And you know, that kind of perfection is hard to find. And then at the same time, I always have all these other books pulling at me, and I think, okay, I'll hurry up and get all those read first, and then, you know, when I get all that done, then I'll sit down with this. And that never happens. And I have got to turn that mindset around. That's almost, I think that's kind of, that reminds me of why perfectionists never get things done, because they're waiting for that perfect time to get it done. And I think that's my problem. So I have got to finish these, and it's not that I have got to. I want to read both of these books, and they've been sitting in my living room this whole time. You know, I see them every day, and I think, okay, I'll read some and all these other books, and then I'll get to these, and I can't do that. What I need to do is, as soon as my Bible reading is done, I need to pick up one of these. That's what I need to do. So if I don't do that in the month of July, definitely for the month of September, I got to do that and make these a priority. So that is our those are my answers for the 2021 edition of the Mid-Year Freakout Tag. And if you have read any of these books and want to chat about any of these books in the comments, then please do so. I would love for you to leave me a comment. If you are not subscribed to my channel, at this moment today as I'm filming this, I think I'm like 5 subscribers away from 2,000. So if you see fit to subscribe, I would very much appreciate it. It would just be a fun milestone to hit. If I never hit it, it's all good. It is fine. I am still going to be here. I love BookTube. I love chatting with you guys in the comments and on other forms of social media. And this is just super fun for me and very enjoyable. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.